Rush Limbaugh is here. Maybe we'll talk about some of the things that we're reading about in the newspapers, and I guess the Times Man of the Decade, Mr. Gorbachev, might be a good place to start.
Well, an absolutely, you know, you talk about outrageous. Now, this is an excellent point. Time magazine doesn't really believe that. No intelligent person does. There's only one reason.
Doesn't believe that he's Man of the Decade?
No, of course not. They only do to sell magazines. Did you note the cover price went up the day the issue came out?
You think Gorbachev sells magazines?
No. Well, they're hoping to because of controversy. Time magazine is doing the same thing that you think that radio talk show hosts do. That'd be outrageous and be clowns and do things controversy out of the mainstream. It is thought by many that the way to grab attention is to be in the minority on things and be outrageous. And it's very chic to be anti-America, like Born on the 4th of July and Ron Kovic, and it's very chic right now to be anti-America.
Well, certainly Mr. Gorbachev has made a difference in this decade. I mean, and Time has always said they're not picking their favorite guy or, you know, Mr. Congeniality here.
I don't know how you can do that story and leave Ronald Reagan out of it to the degree they did. Ronald Reagan is more responsible for the breakup of that country over there in the Eastern Bloc. Gorbachev couldn't stop it. He doesn't want any of this to happen, but he has no choice. He can't stop it, in my opinion.
All right. Let's hopscotch around the headlines here. Mr. Noriega is now in custody. How do we handle that whole thing?
I think we handled it marvelously. Somebody was talking backstage about, oh boy, United States, what a bunch of jokesters. Well, where is Noriega?
Well,
he's in jail.
Yeah.
What more is there? I'd call the operation a success.
So you were pleased about that. Homelessness, we hear a lot about that issue. You've talked about that on your show, I know, somewhat.
I have. In fact...
It caused a little brouhaha.
Well, you know, I'm somewhat misunderstood on that. I don't attack the homeless themselves. I attack the homeless advocates who I think are engaged in a phony situation. I don't think they really care to solve the problem. I think they want to keep the problem around because it gives them a forum from which to seek power and to seek a more socialist nation, and it gives them a chance to point fingers of blame at Reagan and conservatives.
Do you think there is a problem?
Well, I heard Casey Kasem on your show. You did a whole week of this. Casey Kasem, Valerie Harper, they all came out here, and I talked about it then, and I said, you know, I don't know that people tune to late-night TV to watch that kind of stuff, to be preached to, to have fingers of blame pointed that it's your fault. Come to Washington, protest and all this. Doesn't solve any problem. After all the work they did, there's not one less homeless person around today. There aren't 4 million, there won't be 20, there are 600,000, 75% of them are in a sad shape because of substance abuse, and it's not an affordable housing problem. There weren't budget cuts. I mean, the whole homeless agenda's alive, Pat.
Well, but you certainly agree there's a problem there. There are people, you know, these are not actors.
There are, but it's a social problem, and you don't solve it with politics.
But what about the people who talk about it? I mean, this is a free country, as they say, and they're certainly entitled to come on and express their views, and it does sound humanitarian on the face of it, doesn't it?
Sounds humanitarian, and that's the key, but
isn't that part of your problem? And you may be very right in what you say, but doesn't that make you look as if you're coming down saying you don't care that
if that does, see, that's the beauty of having 4 hours every day to deal with it, is that if people misunderstand the position, you can talk them through it and take care of it. And I think one of the problems is that the people like the ones you had on the show are oftentimes presented unchallenged, and they're presented without contention, and they absolutely get credit for caring, and caring doesn't solve anything. Action does. And the action they take is not designed to solve the problem, but merely perpetuate it in its current form, in my opinion.
So shouldn't you have to offer an alternative action then? What do you do?
I'll tell you what to do. Homeless University. You set up, no wait, you know what the problem?
The U of H?
The U of H. U of H, you put it in Malibu, Martin Sheen's backyard. You do, and the problem is that these people don't know how to access the opportunity that exists in our society. For whatever reason, they just don't know how to do it. You teach them. You don't just you know, try to get more tax money spent feeding them and clothing. I mean, those are basic things you do for human dignity that are fine, but they don't solve the problem.
All right, we have to take a break, and when we come back, we thought it might be fun since Will's here and Rush is here and Dan and I are hanging around. We'll get a little more involved in some discussion of something. Won't that be fun?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Will?
How about that?
Yeah!